Hey there, everybody. Welcome back to another 21st Century Renaissance and another open interest newsletter breakdown on Gamestop. I'm your host, Dr. Mike LoPiano, and Gamestop has just announced that they have finally acquired 4,710 Bitcoin. We do not yet have a purchase price for that, but we may, in just a few hours, be hearing something about that, potentially. There are rumors that this may be announced at the Bitcoin conference going on right now in Las Vegas, Nevada. So we're going to be thinking about what this means for our price action going forward. And of course, addressing this question that we started asking yesterday, does all of this potential volatility signal a broader sort of structural breakdown for how our price is moving? That's what we're going to be thinking about today. Before we get into that, we will go to our gratitude. And today's gratitude, once again, goes out to AmGo Blue, aka Adam Graff, who has sponsored today's article and video breakdown, as well as to our monthly supporters, Not Medical Advice, Cosmotropic, The Swag 52, and Hey Luckies, aka Faithless Looter, who is anything but faithless, let me tell you, who have pledged to support and offset some of my data expenses on a regular basis that I incur in order to produce this research and content for the broader GameStop community. So thank you very much to them, as well as to everyone who has asked questions, made comments, anything of the like. I'm very grateful to all your support. And yeah, so let's go GameStop and let's take a look at what we're looking at today. Right, so we do actually have a company announcement, right? This came in about 7 o'clock today, Eastern time. We do have an official company announcement. This is no longer just rumor. And it does seem that some of these intimations by Ryan Cohen, such as following Bitcoin Magazine, in fact, I think Bitcoin Magazine officially announced this at the same time that the company did. So I think potentially Ryan Cohen may have been in some sort of discussion with Bitcoin Magazine well in advance of this. It may also be the case that some of this information was circulated or somehow was received by institutional investors of some sort who plan to go ahead and have some of this volatility coincide with Cohen's announcement here of Bitcoin, as well as this deeper weekly price momentum oscillator cross, which we may have been taking a look at, right, which we've been looking at for many months now, this weekly PMO cross that we were waiting on that did occur just towards the end of last week into, I think this was on Friday. It was either on Thursday or Friday, but in any case, it took place, right? And so we're thinking about, okay, what's going to go on now? What's happening moving forward here? What in particular may be on the horizon? For GameStop, it does in fact look like they are, Ryan Cohen is moving along with this plan for the company, right? That it does look like they've possibly only put in about 300 or 400 million. So basically just like that little bit of cash that they had acquired way back in September with the September offering. So I mean, pre-market here, we're looking at some significant volatility. If we head over to our charts here, we can take a look. So we can see pre-market here, right? Obviously, here comes in the announcement, stayed pretty buoyant for a while, then big sell-off here. I mean, this clearly looks like some sort of price adjustment to the downside, and now we are on our way right toward the open. We've still got quite a bit of time here before we do. Right, kind of chilling, basically back in that little pocket there. It did look like, it moved us right below 36. We're kind of flirting with 36. Really, I mean, I will reiterate some of what I mentioned yesterday in that, right? So yesterday we were looking at this formation of some key composite gamma levels, right? So yesterday our price action was really pretty much confined to these levels, right? How do we get back here? Here we are. Right, so we can see, let's see if we can zoom out a little bit. Right, so we had this very large call debit spread come in that set up its long call position, so the long leg of that call debit spread at $36. And I mentioned that the presence of this $35 large, this very large call position here, as well as 36, right, would create this kind of this kind of composite resistance. So we can see, right, we kind of got sucked in and up by this 36 position through the 35 position, but on the way to 36, momentum died out and we shot back down. Then we worked our way back up, sucked up again, and then down, right? And then a lot of call sales. Then we get this little tail right on the end of the day again, which I'm not sure exactly what's caused these tails. We've seen a lot of these little kind of tail ups into the close recently. This may have something to do with repositioning of hedging for the convertible bonds, which are also significantly up. Right. So, but what was very interesting was my remarks yesterday were, okay, if we can't really break this 36 position, then we'll probably just keep reflecting down and trading in here. And that's what we did throughout the day, right? Trading below. If we can't get above 36 definitively and hold that, then we just kind of move back to the downside there. But now that we have really flirted with moving up over 36, I mean, this looks like an attempt potentially to move the price back below that 36 level, because as we know in terms of gamma hedging principles, as the price moves up over this, right, as the market maker hedges, right, the market maker is always, the options market maker is always dynamically hedging. As the price moves up through 36, the market maker, as we go later on into the week, is going to have to hedge more and more of that position, is going to have to buy shares in order to hedge that position. The trader, in fact, right, we know for a fact that these 45,000 calls at $36 are long. We saw this trade come in. This is the long leg of a trade on the part of the trader who is engaged in this call debit spread. Therefore, we know that the options market maker is short these 45,000 calls. To remain delta neutral on this position, the options market maker must purchase shares. As that occurs, right, as that position goes into the money, it'll get sucked up into it. Then we have resistance kind of right on top of the strike due to the principles of gamma, right? So the behavior of gamma. Gamma peaks right when these contracts are going into the money. So the rate of change of delta is highest right as this is about to go into the money. Once you move through that area, then the strike becomes more and more resistant the later on into the week you go. Or I should say supportive the later on into the week you go. So as we move later into the week, if we start trading and we really move above 36, it will become more difficult for institutions, for the options market maker to move the price below this particular level. So if I were a bearish institution or something like that, or I had specific volatility objectives, if I had trades that were structured in such a way that I did not want the price to be below 36, or I did not want it to be above 36, I didn't want to see this long leg close in the money, then I would be investing efforts to make sure that we didn't move above this particular level. And the reason for that, if we go ahead, we'll go back here, has to do with what I pointed out in our technical environment. Right now that we're kind of getting away from more familiar options brackets, I mean, we do have an option structure in place, but we're going to be increasingly relying on these wider and wider gapped trading brackets, right? Historical trading brackets. So you can see, right, how we just kind of stuck in this area for a while. Basically, we were kind of trapped below this 27 to 30 area for a while. Then we moved into it, and then we very quickly moved out of it and into this blue area. So in this blue area, we have basically another $5 bracket. That's where we went in January. What a breach of this means, what this Bitcoin announcement potentially does is it moves us up into this kind of 35 to 50 trading area. We do have some options levels in here, such as 40, that do offer some resistance kind of midway, but volatility would ramp up quite a lot if we started dancing around in this bracket. And a part of this is because, right, as we move into these brackets, right, IV will reflect the greater potential amplitude that there is, the lesser structure, how quickly we move up through these levels. So that'll be interesting for us to keep an eye out on. In terms of changes to our options landscape, it was very interesting was that the particular trader who opened this call debit spread went ahead and closed yesterday after a single day, right? After, I mean, this was down, so he took quite a bit of a loss on this leg, but rolled the 39 leg up to 41, weirdly. So it was looking like, okay, we'd be kind of stuck. If we moved above 36, we'd be between this 36 and 39 area here into the end of the week. But with kind of this 39 leg being rolled up here, this does give us some more amplitude. What is a bit strange is we don't really have that much. We don't have OI in the middle of this area. In fact, OI at 37.5 is so small; it's not even 1,000 contracts. So if you're looking for an example, if you're looking for some evidence or a potential suggestion as to why our pre-market price action stopped at 37.50, right at 37.49 right there, well, look no further than the fact that there are no options to hedge at 37.50. There's nothing there. So we kind of moved up in here, hit this hedging dead zone, and then we started to move back down. But what's going to be interesting is if we open above 36, what happens to this area? Do we get some more options texture that move us into this now? I mean, 39 is still has a decent amount of calls there, but 39, 40, 41. And this is going to serve as a very, very highly resistant lid on our price action. Okay, so the short essentially of what my takeaways are, right, regarding this repositioning, regarding now our gamma landscape is, yeah, well, we may see some supported trading above this kind of 35, 36 level. Maybe we kind of dip below 36 and then come out of it. But we would need to, unless we see something that really, really catapults us up there. A lot of options activity to fill this in, kind of smooth out our transition into these upper strikes. We're going to hit this hedging dead zone. And then on the other side of that, we're going to have a lot of resistance from these very large options positions at 41.40 and 39. I mean, maybe we get something else unexpected that comes out that kind of continues to walk us up there, but that's going to be a really, really strongly resistant area, right? Volatility will remain high until we get some sort of event, right? Until we see liquidity deployed, lending liquidity deployed, can kicks come in and go ahead and try to knock us down as dealers, traders, everybody sort of shifts over into volatility sales. So really what seems to be the case, right? This was one of these moments where internalized trades, where a lot of built up FTDs that needed to be settled, maybe something connected back to these 77 billion CAD errors, was finally allowed to come back onto the tape with GameStop, possibly in particular because there were institutions who knew that this Bitcoin purchase was coming to a certain extent, right? This may not be something that we the broader GameStop community wants to hear, right? There is a very, very much an us-them sort of dynamic at play between independent traders, retail household, and what Wall Street and financial institutions are doing. But unfortunately, right, this is a system that is controlled by the individuals and by the groups of individuals, right, by these teams of people who run these institutions. Part of what these collective bonds and part of what these at-the-market offerings are doing is they are negotiating. A scenario in which Wall Street does indeed get to escape some of this heat that they've incurred based on these manipulative practices with GameStop. The company gets to benefit as well. The shareholders get to benefit as well. But, not without some significant collaboration, likely on the part of GameStop. So this may have been something, right, anticipated. This may have been known. This may have been something that was circulated in the right channels, such that this type of price action could occur at this moment when it was clear that GameStop was going to go ahead and time this type of announcement. Now, I'm not saying that Ryan Cohen went to institutions, went to Wall Street institutions and said things like, "Hey, make sure to do your volatility thing here." But to say to sort of, let's just say, right, somebody knew about the Bitcoin plan a good month before it was actually announced, right? Many of us, including myself, were kind of like, this seems like MSM nonsense. And in fact, I mean, it was sort of, the timing of it was a little suspect. The timing of it aligned with what was going on with some of that, volatility release valve back in the middle of April middle of February, between February 10th and February 14th. So I would suspect then. But it turned out that was actually a true report. So something is going on, right? Something is allowing some of this information to get out, such that this can go the way that the company would like it to go. I mean, the result is that the share price continues to see new highs, higher floor and higher highs. Look, that's the name of the game, right? So it looks like maybe part of this deal is Wall Street is going to be able to continue to trade. They're going to continue to do their whole volatility scheme. But the result is that the company is going to go into this class of equities like maybe NVIDIA or MicroStrategy or Tesla or something like that, which they're allowed to appreciate, right? The underlying value of the shares is allowed to appreciate. The company is allowed to appreciate. And these predatory attempts to keep the share price down will be set aside under these conditions. So I would say that I am prepared just in case we have to weather some sort of offering and a price adjustment to the downside. So, for example, if we look at liquidity, some interesting things. GMEU also had like a massive increase in its available shares to borrow. This is the highest we've seen since it started trading about a month ago. And this is about 10x what's average, as we can see. GME borrow rate has not gone anywhere really. Shares available to borrow did get kind of low, right? Last night they did get kind of relatively low to what we've seen, down to 2.3 million, but back up to 3.4 pre-market. XRT getting low, XRT being redeemed down back close to 52-week lows. So thinking maybe T plus 33 trading days, or T plus 6, C plus 35, T plus 1 days. Out from basically now, right? So we can double check this in basically about 2-ish weeks time. We can go ahead and take a look and see, well, maybe, is it going to be included in the late May? It may be included actually in about a week's time in the next FTD report. So we'll have to see, but this would suggest that today would likely be a day that XRT would also be accruing a lot of FTDs. So we'll have to take a peek. Those would be, scheduled to come back onto the tape, but they can be kicked, sometime out in, I guess, early August for this stuff. Yeah, all this stuff is probably going to be an early August question. So we'll have to see. But in any case, I would say, to just kind of sum this up, right? It does not look like we're still not heading into this state of structural breakdown. It's very exciting. It's wonderful to see the company reach new highs. It's very exciting to finally get something delivered in terms of the Bitcoin front here. But at the same time, I'm also not pivoting into, oh my gosh, we're totally going to moon in the sense of go to a million gajillion dollars per share. Not seeing that type of environment yet, even though this volatility is very exciting. In a lot of ways, a lot of this is unprecedented. So at the same time, I'm not, saying, well, I definitely know what's going to happen. I definitely know it's around the corner. But I would not be surprised, right, if the company were to engage in another convertible bond offering, raise the floor again, set up the next cycle, something like that. Just staying wary of this. Certainly looks good. Certainly very exciting going into the end of the week. I mean, many opportunities for a lot of different trades to set up here. I'm just, staying cautious, as is my way, right? You guys know me. You guys know, I mean, I really haven't pivoted from many of the strategies that I take on a regular basis with Gamestop, the types of instruments I like to take, how I like to manage my risk. So I am cautious in general when I approach this. Probably more than would be suggested by the fact that I only trade Gamestop, to the outside, right? But I mean, really fundamentally, once you understand this kind of structure, this is a lot less risky of an asset than it would otherwise seem. We'll see. We got to see what's coming up today. Very exciting day, very exciting week. Good chance we see some continuation of this into next week as well. But certainly don't see volatility going away immediately. And I'm definitely keeping my eyes peeled out for a potential offering announcement from the company, as well as whatever's going on, right, with these rumors with RC being at the Bitcoin conference here. So, have a great day out there. Good luck trading. Looking forward to seeing questions, comments, everything of the like. We're certainly going to have a lot to talk about come live stream on Friday. So So thanks a lot, you guys. Thanks for watching and listening, and we will see you. Yeah, we'll see you tomorrow. Take care.